be bringing Esteban in just a minute. Hello, everyone who's watching. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here with us today. I hope you guys are having such a wonderful day. And everyone who's watching from San Fran or everyone who's watching from Mexico, please make sure to send your questions. All right, let's bring him in.
A ver. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Bien, hace tanto tiempo.
I know.
A ver, I think this will be better. This will be a better place for. There we go. Tanto tiempo.
I know.
Yeah.
It's such a while. Oh my gosh. How's everything? How's your day going? How's San
Everything is
Fran?
everything is great. I can't complain. My day has been good. I actually had a Zoom, well, not a Zoom, it's a different server, but it's a voice, a video chat platform with my whole family.
Yes.
So it's a lot of us. So it was, I think we talked for four hours. So
Amazing.
literally just came out of that into this. So
That's amazing. And everyone is spread all around the world, right?
all over the world. I have a brother in the Netherlands. I have a brother in the UK. I have a sister in New Jersey. My parents are in Mexico. Um, so yeah, a lot of talking.
That's great. Talking and it's good. And funny thing is that this whole situation, I feel that is connecting all of us, bringing us closer somehow. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course. I think in a way that nothing has before. You know,
I know.
it's everybody has the time right now, or most people have the time. So it's kind of hard not to. You know, I've been reaching out to a lot of my friends and my family and people that you feel like you've lost touch with, and then now it's a perfect chance to get in touch again.
Absolutely. I find the same. I think I've been doing the same, and hence having you here. It's been such a long time since we last saw each other. You were
Hmm.
probably still in your first year at the rock school. That was a long
Yes.
time.
I think it's more than 10 years ago.
Yes. I don't want to say how long because I'm gonna give away how old I am, but that's okay.
That's okay.
All right, so let me introduce you to everyone.
Hmm.
So, hello everyone who's watching. Welcome to the fifth. We are talking with the stars, and our
Yeah.
star today is Esteban Hernandez. Okay, I'm gonna say in the actual accent. Esteban Hernandez,
Yes.
from a principal dancer from San Francisco Ballet. Woo! How are you,
Mm.
Esteban?
Hi, good. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. Why don't you start by telling us um, where you coming from, what were your beginnings like, and all of that.
Yeah. So I'm originally from Mexico. I'm originally from Guadalajara. Uh, I come from a very big family. I have my mom had 11 children, so I have a very big family. Both of my parents were dancers when they were in their 20s, 30s, um, and then they left it. They left it all behind. They decided that they didn't want to have anything to do with dance, and so they started having children,
Well, it's one
and
thing
then
for the other.
yeah, and then at some point I think they were trying to figure out what to do with so many of us, and my dad was like, okay, well, why don't I start teaching them how to dance? Um, so he built a ballet bar in our patio, in our back patio, which is where we used to hang the laundry. Um, and he would lay down a couple of pieces of wood, and we would spend hours basically just dancing. Um, at first, it was only my oldest siblings that were taking the classes. When he first started teaching them, I was too young to dance, but I remember always watching. And then from him teaching all of my siblings, all of a sudden he starts teaching one of my brothers, Isaac, Isaac Hernandez. He started teaching him, and there was something I think that my dad was able to recognize pretty early on, that there was something special about him, about his approach to dance, and he really liked it as well. So he decided to. At first, he was teaching us to keep us entertained, to give us a something to do, a way of exercising. Um, and then he started taking it more seriously with my brother Isaac. And he trained him for 4 years. I believe by his third year, I was 7 years old. And at 7 years old, I came up to my dad and I asked him to teach me. I told him, I was like, I've been watching and I want to learn as well. So teach me, please. And he was very quick to be like, are you sure that that's what you want to do? Because I told him it wasn't just teach me. I told him I wanted to be a professional dancer.
Eight.
Yes, and 7 years old. Yeah. So I mean, I had no idea what that really meant. But at the time when I asked my dad, he immediately told me, he was like, "Are you aware of what you're asking me to do? You want to be a professional ballet dancer. You have to understand that it's a very difficult profession. It's very difficult. You have to sacrifice maybe a lot of normal childhood things, and you probably he explained that it would be pretty much just a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifice." And I was 7 years old, and I was like, "Yes, I want to do it."
Determination, hard work. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
so we started the next day, and yeah, I mean, I studied with him for 4 years. One of those years I overlapped with my brother, and then he left to study at the Rock School, which is in Philadelphia. And then 4 years later, after I had been training with my dad for 4 years, I moved to the Rock School. I moved to Philadelphia to train there as well. And
You
that's
were
where I met
such a
you.
baby.
I was
I
such a
know.
baby.
You were such a baby. What were you, like 13, 12?
I was 12. I was
Oh
12.
my,
Yeah.
wow.
So it's Mills. I just saw her. It's
That's
before all
amazing.
of yeah before because she lives here in San Francisco now. But so hi, Mills. um, it's a small world.
It is.
Uh, but uh, but yeah, I loved my time at the Rock School. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work. But I feel like there was a very good family environment, at least as far as I encountered. It was very I'm always really grateful to the directors, Paul and Stephanie. They really were amazing, not just to me, but I think to all of the students. They kind of went the extra mile to make sure that everyone felt comfortable and that everyone felt cared for and appreciated. And so I'm always grateful to them for that. And then, yeah, I mean, eventually after that, after 3 years at the Rock School, I I got a scholarship to join the Royal Ballet School in London.
Right, right.
Um,
Which I'm guessing it was not the only scholarship that you got.
Well, I kind of had I had made up my mind
Mm.
that that's where I wanted to go. And it was funny how that happened. Um, I the Youth America Grand Prix, it's such a big competition, and especially at the time, the rock school was very involved with it. So we used to go every year, and it was a great way to get stage time and to get to be in front of an audience and kind of see where you stood uh, with the rest of the dancers around the world. Um, and uh, and so through that, I remember there was one year I wasn't competing. I was just watching. I went to watch all of the people that were competing from the school,
Mhm.
and I remember the Royal Ballet School brought one of their students to compete, and his name was William Bracewell, and he was in the senior division. I believe he was maybe 16, 17 years old, and he did something that was completely unusual at a competition like YGP, because most of the competitions they focus on the big exciting variations. You see a lot of Don Quixote, you see a lot of the Corsair, you see the flashy
Right.
variations, but he did the complete opposite. Uh, he did the slow first act variation of Swan Lake.
Interesting.
Uh, yeah, I had never even seen that variation before, and it's a hard thing to do, especially uh, just out of like shot out of the wing into the stage. It's different whenever you are doing a full ballet and
Mhm.
you've been on stage a little bit and you have kind of this progression. But to create that environment on the stage in 3 minutes
Mhm.
of just coming out, standing there, doing it, and then it created this atmosphere where you literally could not take your eyes off of him.
Mhm.
And I remember just being completely mind blown because I had never seen anything like it before. And I think everyone felt it at the same time. And so when he was done doing that, the whole crowd just lost it. They went wild because it was something so unusual and something so simple, but not. I don't know. It really left a mark in my brain. Um, and after seeing him do that, I remember the first thing I thought was that I wanted to dance like that. That I wanted
Right.
to be able to do that. It
Right.
was like I want to be able to go out on stage with that command, with that comfort, that ability uh, to really be out there and feel completely comfortable. And and so Bo and Stephanie actually I spoke to them first because uh, I figured that was the right thing to do before, to just be open about the things that I wanted, and I think that they understood uh, that of course they were able to offer me a lot of things at the rock school, and they were able to give me a lot of help, and they helped me become the dancer that I was up to that point.
Mhm.
Uh, but sometimes you have to move on and go somewhere different in order to be able to fully develop yourself. Um, so I mentioned that to them, and they said they would see what they could do. And then a day later, I remember being approached by the the director of YGP, Larissa Saveliev,
Mhm.
and she said to me, she said, "I hear that you're interested in going to the Royal Ballet School." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Well, yes, that would be just
Who isn't?
amazing." Yeah, it's like that would just be amazing. And she looked at me and she was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yes, of course." so she was like, okay, wait a minute. And then she introduced me to the director of the Royal Ballet School at the time,
My God.
Gayleen Stock. She's no longer with us. She passed away actually my graduating year. But I am forever thankful to her and to her husband as well, because her husband was my graduating year teacher. He was my third year teacher at the school, and with all of the stuff that was going on in their personal lives and her struggling with what she was struggling, he was still there for us, and he still was there teaching us and sharing his knowledge and being as positive as he could be throughout this difficult time. So I'm extremely grateful for that opportunity that she gave me. She asked me the same thing. She said, you understand that we are a vocational school, and
What does
it's
that
very
mean?
different. Well, it's just a very different. It basically means that everything you do is to really make a profession out of dance.
Right.
You spend your entire day training to be a dancer, not just classical ballet dancer, but you have all sorts of supplemental training. I'm not sure what time we started every morning, but we started with some classroom classes. Actually, we had A levels, which is the equivalent of like high school in the UK, as well as B Tech, which was more based around performance arts and all sorts of things. So their curriculum was very wide, and I had never with most of the things that I got to learn there, I had never had the chance to really understand them and to really learn them in the way that they taught them to me. Character classes, contemporary classes, choreography classes, all sorts of things. It really opened up my mind to the possibilities of what dance could be, and yeah, it was one of the best things that could have happened to me. Uh,
And
yeah.
then you decided to go to San Fran because Isaac was there, or
Well,
is there
not
any other?
necessarily. You know, a lot. It's funny because our paths, my brothers and I, have been very similar, but also different at the same time. We both started with my dad, and then we both moved to Philadelphia. But in each of those places, we only really crossed over for a year, maybe a year and a half at the rock school. And then after, once he left the rock school, he joined American Ballet Theater too. And then he spent a year there, and then he came here to San Francisco Ballet. And when he came here, I went to the Royal Ballet School. So we kind of were like, okay, this is different from everything we've done so far. We're taking very different paths. And while I was in school in London, I used to come visit him here in San Francisco. And every time that I came here, I always felt very welcome in the company. My director, Helgi Thomasson, he was always very friendly and very welcoming. He never really seemed to mind that there was a 14-year-old kid taking company classes. It was it was nice, and all of the dancers, it felt like a real community. So I think that was the main reason why it was always in the back of my head. I yeah, when I graduated my graduating year, I auditioned everywhere. It's kind of part of it's you do it in as part of kind of your training in a way, because it's a useful skill to have, to know what an audition is like, and the things that you're asked to do, and how prepared you have to be, and all of those things. Gabe, yes, you are a cool person. uh, sorry,
Gabe, you want to be on the
but
show?
yeah, I know. Actually, it's a good idea. Um,
Your message.
but yeah, so I auditioned many different places. Of course, being at the Royal Ballet School, my goal at the time was to be with the Royal Ballet. It's like I want to dance there, and for the 3 years that I spent in training in London, my goal was to you okay? No, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, okay, good. My goal was to dance there, or at least stay in the UK. But it's funny how things end up working out. And at the time, it felt like uh, it was somewhat discouraging to me that I didn't really fit in the kind of the standards that they were looking for, at least that particular year or whatever. So, but then, I got this offer to come to San Francisco, and I was like, you know what? I think it's gonna be a great thing for me to go somewhere completely different and be in a new environment with new people, with new dancers, new staff, dancing things that I'm not gonna dance over here. So I was like, you know what? I love San Francisco, and I figured I might as well give it a go. And now looking back on it, yeah, it's cheesy how they say that things happen the way that they're supposed to happen,
Oh, I
but
don't think it's easy. I live by it, my friend.
yeah, but it really feels like that's how it was supposed to happen.
That's great. And now
Yeah.
you're principal with the company after how many years?
So I got this was my first full season as a principal, the 2019-2020 season. I got promoted last year around this time actually. Uh, so it's been a year since then. It's crazy how fast time goes by. But that was the end of my fifth season, starting my sixth season with the ballet. So so yeah, that's pretty fast. And at the time, I remember when Helgi announced it, it was crazy because he announced these two other promotions. He taught class that day, and I did not think of it. Didn't even cross my mind. He promoted me 2 years before that to soloist. So I figured, I have some time as a soloist to kind of develop myself more, so that I can then be ready to be a principal. But then that day he taught class, and then at the end of class he was like, I have a couple of announcements to make, and he promoted uh, Madison Kiesler to soloist, Kevin Conley to soloist, and I was just like, just telling him, I was like, oh, that's exciting, that's great. And then he goes, oh, and I have one more, and everyone's like, okay, who's it gonna be? And then he just points at me and he goes, you, principal. And I was like, I I couldn't believe it. It was completely surreal. Um, I remember just like not being able to kind of react. I just had my hands like this, and I was like, no, what? Like, I really wanted to just be like, are you sure? Like, really? But
So this is usually around this time, like you mentioned, is the promotions time, and not only for San Fran, like for everyone else, right?
yeah.
Does he usually does it something like intimate like that during after class? And when that happens, do people kind of like expect certain people to get promoted and all that?
Yes and no. I mean, it's usually the way he does it is with either the entire company there or part of the company there, whether it's after class or after a show uh, or in different ways. I got promoted to soloist at the end of a show that we did, but it wasn't just me; it was two other people as well. And it was very much like that. It was in front of the cast that had just performed, and he was like, you know, I want to. You guys have all been working really hard, and I want to acknowledge that this person, this person, this person, and whatever. So, I mean, I I don't know. In all of those two promotions, I wasn't really thinking about it. I wasn't really expecting it. I think that it's best to just go into work and do your best and do your work, and whatever is meant to be will be. Um, and so yeah, I mean, I've ever since I joined the company, I remember having conversations with my classmates from London, before we all kind of went our separate ways. And I remember always telling them, I was like, I just want to do everything. I want to do it all. And I want to just like, I want to go there and I'm gonna just work my butt off until I get to do the things that I want to do. And that's kind of been my mentality throughout this whole time that I've been here. Uh, I don't think that, yeah, I think that the hard work is the secret to success.
I couldn't agree more. Someone is saying it's amazing how you develop your career in such a short time, and I agree. When they announced that you were doing Prodigal Son, I mean, I like we met each other, but didn't keep in contact over whatever, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a really special role. It was around that time that I got promoted to soloist. That program was alternating with another program, and yeah, that was an experience that I hold very dear to my heart. Uh, it's an amazing role. I think that if all male dancers got to experience that and live that on stage, uh, it would change the it would change their lives, um,
Amazing.
because it's really really special. Um, so yeah, it's I've been very lucky for sure with all of the opportunities that I've gotten, and I think that's what I'm most thankful for the chances that they've taken on me. It's hard to I mean, I don't know this for a fact because I don't have the experience of being an artistic director, but I can imagine, especially when you have to worry about selling tickets and making sure that you're putting on the best show possible.
Mhm.
uh, it's hard to really trust the dancers that you're giving opportunities to, and be like, okay, well, that's it.
Mhm.
This is your chance. So I feel like a lot of I mean, throughout my whole career, a lot of the times my first reaction is like, are you sure? you know, but but then when you get those opportunities, you kind of grow into them. It gives you a chance to kind of step up to the challenge, even when it's things that at first you might have never thought you'd have to do, or never thought that you could do.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
Do you ever get
being
nervous or anything?
Yeah, all the time. It's part of it. It's part of what we do. Um, and I think it's a good thing, actually. I think it reminds me of I guess it reminds me of the importance of that I at least give into the art form. It reminds me of everything that I've been through to get to where I am, and reminds
Mhm.
me how fortunate I am to be able to be there at that particular moment, about to go on stage to do the things that I'm about to go on and do. Um, so so I like to try to use my nerves or my anxiousness in a way that actually inspires me, in a way that pushes me to kind of be like, oh well, you've made it this far, you've done all of these things, you've kind of risen up to the occasion this far. Why stop now?
Great. I love it. So one of my favorite questions, it's what's your most performed role? And yeah.
Ah, well, that's kind of hard to pinpoint because our seasons change so much,
Mm,
and we usually, if we repeat a ballet 2 seasons in a row, um, that's usually the only cases where you get to revisit roles. I think so far in my career, I've gotten to revisit only a few of the roles that I've gotten to perform the year after. So and most of them have been new creations, new
right.
works.
Amazing.
Yeah, but when I was in school at the Royal Ballet School, I did the Corsair Pas de Deux a lot,
Right.
and that kind of became at the time in the school, it was kind of my signature thing that
Mm,
that I did with my partner. It was really fun because they kind of paired us up together in our first year and kept us together throughout the 3 years. So that was my first real chance at getting to develop a partnership, a dance partnership in
right.
that way, where I remember just feeling so comfortable and so calm and so just happy to be out there with her because I knew that I could trust her completely, and she knew that she could trust me completely, and it was really fun. It was a lot of fun.
Great. So but I know that's amazing. Do you have a specific partner now in San Francisco?
No, here in we dance with everyone. uh,
That's great. That
yeah,
makes you a better partner too.
yeah, for sure. I think it's important to be able to dance with anybody, and it always makes things exciting when you get a new partner um, and you're working things out and figuring out how you work with each other. So I don't have a specific partner right now, but I don't know. It is how it is.
That's cool. Okay, my next question is is there a specific performance that truly changed your life or touched you in a way that you can like it lives with you?
Yeah, yeah. There's been a few uh, in school again. When I was in school, I think the very first time that I experienced something like that, it wasn't doing anything flashy or anything crazy like that 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 made me feel like that. But my second year in the school, we got to learn and perform John Neumayer's Yondering,
Mm,
which is a piece that he made to the music of Stephen Foster, and it's a ballet for students only. He does not allow any professional company or any dancer that is already a professional to perform it
interesting.
because it's a piece that he created with young people in mind. It's a piece about growing up. It's about a piece about coming of age and what that can mean for everybody,
Hmm.
and how different that experience can be for everybody. Uh, and I remember from the very first day that we started learning it, the 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 repetiteurs that they sent to teach it to us. uh, were amazing at explaining the ideas behind the steps and the movement and the intention behind everything that you did, which to me at that point was something that I had never even considered. I think up to that point I was always very focused on developing my technique and trying to be as good as possible technically. But then to have this other layer added onto it, it completely blew my mind. I remember there was the guy that taught it to me. His name's Kevin Hagen. He was the director of the school at the time. I believe he might still be. And I remember he said we were doing this movement where you are reaching front, and then you open, and you reach front and then you open. And he just said mama. He just said mama, like reach, like you're reaching for mama. And I remember I was like, what? And then I thought about it as I did it, and I remember just like a tear. And it was something that I was like, what is this? I have never thought about using like something like that, and combining it with dancing. And so that whole experience of learning the ballet and then getting to perform it with all of my classmates and my friends and people that I really grew up with them, because those 3 years that you spend there, you live with them, you go to school with them, you go back home with them, you eat with them, you become a family. And that was we performed that for our graduation, for our end of season show that year. That was only my second year there, so I still had one more year after that. But I just remember, and I am sure that everyone that was on stage felt the same way, because we all finished the ballet. And I remember we all kind of just looked at each other, and I don't think that we understood entirely what had just happened, but I think we all really connected in a way that none of us had experienced before. And it was really special. So that's kind of my first ever experience with something like that, something so memorable. I remember that feeling, and I carry that feeling with me in every show that I do.
That's great. That's such a beautiful story. For sharing that.
Yeah.
On the opposite end, this is a question that I like to ask because not everything goes as planned sometimes.
Yeah.
Are there any funny memories that happened to you on stage or maybe during rehearsal? I don't know, anything funny?
Yeah, of course. It's live theater.
Right.
Things you have to plan for things to go wrong at some point. And I don't know. I think that's what makes it exciting. I think that's what makes dance and theater so amazing. It's that every time you get something different. There are no two shows that go the same, and yeah, there are some shows that don't go according to plan, but you kind of learn to live with it and to move on. You cannot get stuck on one show, like maybe not being able to do a pirouette the way that you wanted to do it, or the way that you did it in the studio or in the rehearsal or whatever. It happens to everyone at some point or another. uh, whether they are the best dancers in the world or the universe or whatever.
Hmm.
I feel like accidents happen, plan things that you don't plan for happen. Um,
Anything
I've
in particular?
oh yeah, particularly my first season in the company. Uh, I think I was experimenting a bit too much. uh, we have Nutcracker is the real first chance that you get to dance um, as a new dancer here in San Francisco Ballet because of the way that our season works. We don't do we learn all of our repertory during the summer and the fall, and then we do all of our performing season from December, which is when Nutcracker starts, until May. Um, and so there are 40, no, not 40, 33, 34 Nutcrackers every year or something like that. So it's a lot of shows, it's a lot of opportunities uh, for new dancers to be seen. So usually they give you, they give you shows and they're like, okay, like see, so that you can get used to being on stage, you get
Mm.
comfortable on the stage, you get to do those things. And I think I felt a little too comfortable too quickly my first couple of shows. And so I was trying to do all these crazy things, and every day I'll be like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to do 10 pirouettes and a triple tour and things like that. And some days it would work and it would be great. And then there were some days that I would end up on the floor and I would roll up and would get up and I'd be like, oh, well. And then,
What would your director do? Be like, oh my gosh.
yeah, no, of course, I had a conversation with the ballet staff, and I mean, I was young, I was 19,
Right.
and just excited to be there and to try to do as much as I could. And then I remember after one show in particular, one of our ballet masters came up to me and was like, it's great that you have all of this energy and motivation to do all these wild things. And it's like, it's really amazing when it happens.
Right.
But he was like, I would rather see you do a little simpler, simpler things and not roll on the ground than see you do crazy stuff and end up on the floor. So all of that has served as a learning experience. Uh, I've kind of figured out the how far to push it in certain occasions, and we are lucky because we do get. Oh, hi, Julie.
Sorry, I am fangirling right now. Oh my gosh. Julie, can you say hi?
Hello.
Sorry. Um, that's amazing. Okay, this is one of my favorite questions.
Mhm.
If aside from all the wonderful coaches that you've had in your years and everything, if you could train with anyone, dead or alive, who will that be?
Um, well, I my favorite dancer of all time is Baryshnikov. I think he really did amazing things for dance, and especially the male dancer. It created a world of possibilities that that uh, that it wasn't that up until him it didn't really exist. I don't know. There was just something special. There is something special about him, clearly, uh,
Absolutely.
in the way that he stands, his charisma, his not just his technique, but he has actually been one of my biggest inspirations because he was also very small, very short, like me. He was, I believe, 5'7" or 5'6.5", and I'm 5'6.5" ish.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Have you met him?
Yes, once, but very quickly under weird circumstances because he came to do a show a couple of years ago, actually, to Berkeley. He was doing a show with William Dafoe called The Old Lady, The Old Woman, I believe, and it was just the two of them. So amazing to have both of them on stage at the same time, and so I met him at the stage door for a little bit of time, and I took a picture of him, and I was like, I couldn't believe that I was standing next to him, and yeah, it was pretty exciting.
We all
But
know that feeling.
yeah, but I always think back to him and all of the things that he did in his career, and that has always helped me being a small dancer because for a long time I encountered uh, that as an issue, being like, oh, well, you're a great dancer, but you're too small, and maybe try somewhere else because you're too small, and oh, we don't really have anyone for you to dance with, so maybe try somewhere else. But in the back of my head, I always think, I'm like, well, and I am not comparing myself to him, and I am not saying that I am him or anything like it, but I always think, well, if he was able to do it, being the size that he was, then why can't I do the same? Why can't I dance the same things? Why can't I get to do the things that he got to do? Maybe he wasn't particularly built in a way to be a prince or to be whatever, but he still did all of those things, and he did them in ways that still, up until this day, it's still remarkable. It's still amazing. You still watch his videos and you go like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Amazing.
Um,
There's so many shorter dancers around the world that have amazing careers. So
mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
I-
So to me, my brother actually got to work with him on Don Quixote, his production of Don Quixote in Italy, and he said it was an amazing experience to just even the way that he shows things, the way that he stands. I remember my brother telling me, he would be like, no, no, well, like maybe think of, he would put on the guitar and he would go and interact with the people on the stage, and just the way that he stood, the way that he looked, the way that it was like a real master class. Um, so training with him would have been really would be really amazing. At least to
there's
just
still time.
yeah, at least to just have just to have a conversation, you know.
Just keep
um,
it for a bit. Okay, so let's get into the little lightning round, which is, I always say this, it's not too fast, it's not
okay.
like, feel free to take your time.
You're gonna
um,
ask me what's your favorite color. I'm gonna say
uh,
table.
that's totally fine.
It's
No judgment
okay.
here. Okay, so tangis or plies?
Tandis.
Jumps or turns?
Depends on the day.
Gosh.
Yeah, no, it depends on the day.
Okay, you kind of like already gave this away, but Baryshnikov or Nureyev?
Both for different reasons.
Totally.
No, really, I mean, Nureyev was just amazing as well.
Right. Very similar to that, Carlos Acosta or Rolando Sarabia.
Mm. I don't know. That's a hard one. I would say also both. Again, they both have similar qualities, but also they're completely different dancers. I mean, Rolando Sarabia, those videos from Varna, from the Varna competitions. Oh my God, I remember watching those when I was like 12, 13, and just being completely mind blown that the things that he could do with the precision that he could do. But Carlos Acosta is also Carlos Acosta, you know, like, and I was lucky. I got to see a lot of his last shows in London when I was in the school. So I got to see him do a lot of things that you don't normally see Carlos Acosta do. You know, we're used to seeing him do Don Q, Corsair, those exciting things. But I remember one in particular. It was Kenneth Macmillan's Gloria, which kind of deals with the themes of war and the effect that it has on population and all sorts of things. And it's set to Faude's music, so it's opera, but it's just so beautiful. And so seeing him do something like that, it again different. He's amazing.
Totally. I like that question, especially for you guys both. It's very
Yeah,
hard.
yeah, it is. And I
Okay,
mean, I know.
another one that's a little bit hard too. Apollo or Prodigal Son?
Well, I have not had the chance to do Apollo, so I'll say Prodigal Son.
Okay, okay, that's
Just
fair
because
enough.
I haven't had
Um,
to.
yeah, this is one of my favorite ones. Tortas ahogadas or tacos?
Tortas ahogadas.
Um,
I'm from Tapatío. I'm
Tapatio.
from
I was like,
Guadalajara. Tapatío, sí.
um,
So.
I'm more norteña. Tacos all day.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, San Francisco, Guadalajara, or London?
Uh, Again, different places for different reasons. I love all of them. Guadalajara, my family, I grew up there. I mean, I've been away from home longer than I lived at home, but uh, Guadalajara will always have a special place in my heart where because that's where I'm from. San Francisco, I think, is one of the most amazing places in the world. I think it has a great combination of everything. Um, it's just it can sometimes feel a little isolated from the rest of the world because of where we are. Um, and I mean, London is I personally think it's the arts capital of the world. There is so much going on at all times. There's so much theater, there's dance, there's music, there's all sorts of things that you can that you can see and you can do. Uh, it's a really good place to be an artist, I think,
Amazing.
and to develop yourself. I was really lucky again because when I was in school, our our sponsors used to take us to see plays. They used to take us to see ballets. They used to take us to see guest performers, all sorts of things. So I was very spoiled in that way that I got to see from Broadway to Shakespeare to uh, contemporary to real experimental contemporary dance to um, the most classical ballets. So for that reason, I think London is just amazing.
Amazing. Great. We only have 5 more minutes. So I'm
Hmm.
going to end off with a very, very easy question. What is your life motto?
Um, I would say, if you never try, you'll never know.
Great. I love it.
Because I
Very
think I think that opens a whole world of possibilities. You know, I think so many of us get caught up in our own insecurities and the things that we don't think we're capable of doing, that we forget that a lot of the times all it takes is that first step, and then you figure out your way through things. So having the motivation to kind of take that first step and be like, well, if I don't do it, nobody's gonna do it for me, so I might as well try. So
I love it. Well, thank you so much. And it was wonderful to have you. Wonderful to see you again. And
Yeah,
I
me
hope you're
too.
having a great night.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it's still early over here, but
Oh yeah,
but yes,
it's almost 8 p.m. here. It's at dinner
yeah.
time.
No,
No, but
sounds
thank you,
good.
thank you. Really, it was wonderful. And honestly, if Instagram was not about to cut us off, I'll keep talking.
Ah,
I
that's
can
right.
keep on picking your brain.
No,
um,
it's all good. I'm glad that you reached out to me and then
well,
that we
thank
were
you.
able to work this out.
Yeah. Well, have a great day, everyone, and thank you for watching. And if you guys have any questions, I'll send them to Esteban and Jose. People love you. They say, te amamos, Esteban. Thank
Very
you.
good.
Bye, everyone.
Okay,
Bye.
bye. Take care.